G'day mate and welcome to Factorio 2.0 with me, Jitty. This started off as a simple list of the top 10 things you need to know about Factorio 2.0 and well, it quickly ballooned out to 30 items or more. So what I need to do is I need to get through this intro very quickly because we have an awful lot to cover. So first thing I want to do is I want to ask you that very important question, that being, what can I borrow a like? I just like to borrow a like. I like to borrow a like early in the video. If you're not happy with the video, you didn't enjoy the video, by all means you can have your like back. Also, maybe I should suggest that you click subscribe button if you want to find out a whole lot more about Factorio in the future. Let's start off with the very first item being, well, the Factopedia. If you hold Alt and left click on any building, you get access to the Factopedia. Factopedia tells you all the different things about a building or a recipe or an item or even a research, and it tells you how you can make an assembler, what it can be made in, and what items an assembler can do. Also applies for anything like an inserter, a power pole. Everything is in here, and also where you can click through the items. So we can go for an assembly machine needs speed modules need green circuits need iron and copper, iron comes from iron ore, and it's made in a smelter. It's a very, very handy item to have inside the game, and it should be compatible with all the mods going forth. So I'm very, very much looking forward to using this in modded playthroughs. Next one I want to talk about is the remote view. If you press Tab or M, you can now scroll around the map as you did previously, and you can remotely interface with things. So I can rotate a belt remotely, I can open up this machine, and I can change the recipe as quick as that. You know what? I don't have a request chest. Can I get a request chest? Anyway, say request chest? No, we don't have a request chest. That's fine. I will just send the recipe back to exactly what it was. Cool. You were undergrounds. Splitters, rather. It's fine. Yeah, so you can access things remotely from anywhere on the map. Very, very big change to how you're going to be interfacing and working with the factories. No more running all the way across the map to interface with one machine, and there's no more of the dirty cheat that I used to, which was put down a machine beside me, set the recipe, and then copy and paste it all the way across the map. Okay, so remote view, very, very big thing. Next thing I want to talk about is pipes. Pipes had a major change. As you can see, I have a bunch of error messages. You're going to have this if you open up an old playthrough, and that is, well, pipes can only go for a maximum of 255 tiles before they run into a small issue. Sorry, 250 tiles before they run into a small issue with distance. So acid is coming from, well, over here somewhere, and that is definitely too far. It says it's too far right here, and my solution is if I remove that, the boss will fix that for me, and then pump. I don't have a pump. Okay, if I, in remote view, press E to bring up, well, pumps, and press Q on that item, I can put that right there, and that'll fix that problem. I can still see the pipe is too long. Oh, look, I need another one right here. Can I cut that? Move you back 2 tiles. I didn't put pumps on my hotbar. Pumps, and one there. Cool. Still too long? Nope, that's the loop pipe. That's fixed the sulfuric acid pipe from the looks of it, which is probably not working due to, well, the water pipe probably being too long as well. No, water pipe's fine. No, it should start working. No, water pipe is definitely too long. Yeah, water pipe's definitely too long, so I have to fix the water pipe as well. But it's a big change. It also means that, well, the whole Factorio fluid problem we've had for a long time, it is now solved. And as I've already spent over 100 hours playing 2.0, I can definitely confirm the fluids work so much better. Next thing we have is on any machine. If we look at the right-hand side where it gives us all the information, we can actually see, well, our very own max rate calculator. We can get the exact crafting speed and how many items it needs per second, and therefore how many items it can craft per second. A wonderful feature that's now built straight into base game. If we look at something like iron sticks, well, I can see that a Slimming Machine 2 needs 1 iron plate every 1.5 seconds. That's going to make me 3 iron sticks per second. That is, like I said, amazing little feature right there. Next one is I have World Gen. World Gen has been upgraded and replaced, but unfortunately, this was the only map that I had that didn't have mods and was, well, compatible with 1.0. So this is the map I have. I can't show you the new World Gen, but I can tell you it's definitely there. And it works a whole lot better. Cliffs are a whole lot less annoying. Driving through a forest to explore, also way less annoying. It's a very, 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 very big improvement. Speaking of exploration, next up we have, well, biters. Biters, they got a whole lot harder. PLD's got a nerf. Also, spawners have more hit points. There were also a whole lot of other combat changes as well. Things like, well, rockets. Rockets no longer need electronics. They just fire in a straight line. Seems pretty self-explanatory. Also, cannon shells have a range modifier compared to explosive cannon shells, which do not. So there's been a whole lot of other changes as well. But yes, some spawners have more hit points, but then again, your artillery also has more damage. Not more hit points. It just takes away more hit points when it arrives. But yeah, PLD's got a nerf. You've been warned. Don't go out with power armor full of PLDs and expect to win every single time. But speaking of changes, we have the tank. As you can see, have a tank here. It's up and running. It does have an equipment grid now, which means your tank can even have PLDs whilst you're out doing combat, and can have logistics. Very, very handy. But also, if I go into remote view, I can now drive the tank, which is even more dangerous than before. Speaking of tanks and cars, they've added latency hiding into tanks and in cars, so therefore if you're driving around a multiplayer map, you should have a better chance of, well, not killing everybody. The bad news is you're still going to find every single wooden power pole, but that's a you problem. Yeah, that comes down to you and your driving. Also, do need to warn you, with remote driving, you can definitely drive over yourself. The good news is your corpse no longer expires, so you have an option to go and get your stuff, or just leave your corpse there as a permanent mark of shame, but it's definitely a thing. All right, next off we have flipping and, well, flipping. Yeah, we already had the ability to flip some items in the game, not all the items. Chem plants and refineries were definitely on my list of things that I was very unhappy that I couldn't flip. The good news is you can now flip them. Yeah, you can flip them entirely. You can flip them any different which way. Flip has been changed to, well, H for horizontal and V for vertical. So yeah, more options to flip around your buildings and make sure they are running the way you want them to. RTS mode. We now have a Spidertron remote along with a copper wire button, artillery remote, the green wire and also the red wire. They're all down here as shortcut bars, and with my RTS remote, I can now pick up all the spiders at once. It's no longer having a spider play follow the leader. You can have a single remote that just lets you select all the spiders and then remove it and then pick them up again. And oh, it also remembers the last set of spiders you had selected. So it's already pre-equipped to grab the last lot. But if you want to grab a new set, that's perfectly fine. You can also, can I just grab 2 of you, 3 of you? And then I can add spiders to the list. And it's control. Control plus left click. Yep, control plus left click to remove spiders from the list, which is going to make it a whole lot easier if you want to split up your spider groups. All right, next one we have is pin location. So I can hold down, Alt? No, Alt and right click. Alt and right click, which will let me pin a location. I can also look at that location very, very quickly from the pin settings right here, which means that if I'm terribly worried about, well, my green circuits running out, I can pin green circuits, I can name them green circuits, and I can click this whenever I want. Also, if you don't like that little tag on the map, you can turn that off, and once you hit confirm, it disappears. Nobody else can see it, but you can keep track of things. Very good if you want to keep track of your friends on a multiplayer map. Good news is you don't have to tell them. They're actually keeping track of them. All right, next on our list is we have trains. Trains got a couple of major overhauls. If we just find a random train, we have a new stack of conditions. So I can actually have them look at how much fuel's in all locomotives or just any locomotives. I can also say station full, station not full. We have more options here. And I can also now have interrupts. Interrupts are test. Interrupts are a special condition which will stop the train doing what it's doing and make sure it goes to, well, whatever station you've chosen. So if I say, look, fuel in any locomotive is, sorry, look, you can go to Pax will do. If the fuel, any fuel, I have to choose which type of fuel it is, so you need to be warned. Well, you need to select what type of fuel it is. So if you have less than 50 coal, then I want you to go to the pack station and wait till, well, inactivity. Inactivity, that means you should fill up. Sure, I'd be better off if I actually had a fuel station, but the demonstration is still there. Also, at the same time, I should mention they're in our train groups, so I can set this to be the packs group. Okay, packs group, and then I can add multiple trains to the packs group, and they'll all follow the exact same orders, which means if I upgrade one train or I change one train, I change all the trains. There's no more having to micromanage how many trains are on which route. You can set all the iron trains, do all the iron, and not have to worry about it. Also means mods like LTN? Yeah, LTN have been mostly removed by this. In fact, actually, I'm pretty sure I've completely removed them. Anyway, on to our next one. Next one is going to be blueprints. Blueprints had a couple of new features. One of them is Can I grab you? One of them is we can hold down shift and place a blueprint right there of whatever we want, and the bots will automatically put down landfill first. So if I remove these items, okay, that was a fish, poor fish. Yeah, these are already marked for landfill, which means putting down your nuclear reactors in the middle of the sea so much easier than ever before. Speaking of other things blueprints can now do, is you can set up parameterized blueprints. So I can set this up with a parameter 0. There's a whole lot of options and a whole lot of conditions in here. I will have a follow-up video covering parameterized blueprints in the not too distant future, and you can select this. Once you've selected this, you can save this with the parameter and actually even set the parameter right here, set some values and some details for the parameters. Again, I have a tutorial video on this very, very shortly. And then when you paste it down, paste it down without holding the shift button, yeah, you get to pick a recipe, which means making generic blueprints for things like bot malls are so much easier. You can have a generic set and just paste them down, and every single time pick the recipe. It'll set up all the requests, it'll set up all the details, it'll set up everything for you, and you don't have to have a whole pre-configured mall condition. Speaking of other things we have access to is well, I missed this one entirely. Yeah, I missed this one. Okay, it was on my list. We now have our guns can now have target priorities. So if you're pretty sure that you can have everything killed by the lasers, or you really want them to, well, take out the spitters first. Yeah. Lasers, please take out the spitters first. I really don't like them shooting at the walls. You can have them choose to take out the spitters first and then target everything, or you can have them ignore unlisted targets. So therefore, they won't shoot at the biters. Meanwhile, I can have my guns, which, look, I really want the guns to only help out with the behemoths. The lasers pretty much have everything else. And tick this button, and that means, well, they're not going to worry about anything except the behemoth biters. Next up, we have ammo. I'd really like ammo in here, but it's a one gun. It's one gun out in the wilderness. I don't really want to put more ammo on it. So what I'd like to do is, I can't do that. Okay. What I want to do is go to remote view by pressing tab. Click on this. Select ammo, or select firearms, and do that. That tells the bots to come put 100 ammo in this machine. I actually have no idea if I have 100 ammo on the network at all. I have all except 19 ammo. Yeah, I had 81 ammo. So the bots are now going to come and deliver that to that gun. And can we set the same for you? Can we put red ammo straight into you? Yeah, cool. We've got a little symbol there, and it's going to have red ammo delivered. You got your yellow ammo delivered. There's more on the way, and you can now remotely rearm your guns should you need to. All right, we did blueprints. Next one is wire conditions. Wire conditions got a whole lot of changes. Can I get a radar? And can we do... let's go with green wire. Green wire, and can I also have a constant combinator? Oh, constant combinator. Can I have you output? I don't know. Personal battery Mark II. That's the item I want you output. I'm going to wire that straight to my radar. Now, you couldn't wire into radars previously. Now you definitely can. I can also wire out of that radar into this power pole, so I can read the wiring condition, and this says 1 battery. Yeah, if I went back in here and I went, hey, you know what? I want to have portable fusion reactors. I want to have 10 of them, please. I can now read that condition out there, which does mean that now, if you've got a little bit of patience, a little bit of smarts, a little bit of wire, you can actually set up your outpost to report how much iron or copper or any resource they have directly into a radar and then read it somewhere else in the network. There's no more running wires all the way across the map. Next one I'm going to talk about is, well, combinators in general. So Combinators got a couple of changes, also a couple of new Combinator friends. We have the arithmetic Combinator. We also have the decider Combinator. We also got a new one, a selector Combinator. And in here, as you can see, the interface has changed. Also, you can add descriptions. It's going to be so important for debugging later. Also, very, very important for those that are not so good at wires. They can hopefully be able to work out what it's doing with a little bit of descriptive text. And these are saved in the actual combinator, and they're also saved inside blueprints. The selected combinator does some selection. So it can count the inputs. It can do a random input. I have no idea why you want a random input, but maybe you do. And also it can count the stack size of an item. Possibly very, very helpful if you're loading and unloading the trains and want to do some sort of smarts. Last off, we have, of course, the decider combinator. Also, you can have combinators read off one wire or the other by, well, selecting the correct wire and also outputting to a set wire. So you can read in on the green wire and then write out on the green wire. Also, technically, you can read in on the red wire and write out on the red wire and do 2 different combinations inside one single combinator. Very, very smart, very, very interesting. Also, we have a display panel. Display panel lets you do a couple of things. Well, obviously we can turn on always show, and then we can write some text in here, and that'll always show up the map. So it'll say, have you clicked subscribe yet? Cool. And then I tick OK. It's going to ask me, have I clicked subscribe yet? And I need to ask you, have you clicked subscribe yet? Also, at the same time, you can put some icons in here. Something like, you know, if you don't click subscribe, you're going to get melted with an artillery shell. You've been warned. So, a nice little building, nice little item. Also, we can say show in chart. If I do that, it's going to pop up on the map at all times. Might be a little bit annoying if you've got a couple of friends. Also, maybe you want to install a couple of them to show off to your friends. Next one we have is Roboport. So Roboports, can I get a red wire and plug that in there instead? So the red wire is going to obviously, as been doing for a long time, read the logistics network contents. But we have a couple of new items. We can always turn on read robot statistics. Also now we can have a new option, which is read the total number of robots in the network. Now, that was not a feature previously. So if we turn this on and this on, I can see, well, there's funnily enough only 59 robots in the network. Seems a little bit low, but that's what's reporting. It must be reporting logistics networks. Oh, Roboports. 59 Roboports in the network, not robots in the network. There we go. But the other thing you can do is read the request. So I can see that, well, we're requesting in science, which is probably a good thing. It probably means that all the science going to the correct location and going through labs. But also, for some reason, we're requesting in flamer fuel. Also blue circuits. Also a tank. And some iron sticks. Maybe I should automate those and make sure that they're dealt with. Last thing I do want to mention is you can actually set inside this machine now. Well, I want you to always have 50 construction bots in this machine at all times, and the logistics bots will get kicked out. If I set this to 150, well, the logistics bots are going to get kicked out as well. Also, I can set this to also 150 and make sure it always has at least 150 Logibots in this at all times. If I remove the whole lot, we're going to see, hopefully, a bunch of Logibots fly over and park right here because they've been told to always stay inside this particular Roboport. Very, very handy around your storage area, so you can make sure that you always have robots at storage, so when you pull up on a train, you decide, I don't want this crap in my inventory anymore, you can get rid of it. Next on our list is undo. We've had undo for a long time, but well, now you can redo. So when you remove something and didn't mean to remove something, you can now undo your undo. Yeah. Also, well, undo just like redo, it has a long list of things you can go back on. Next one we have, well, speaking about Logibots and other things, is you have request groups. So I can add a selection. We can call this, well, look, let's go with outposting. Cool. And when I'm going outposting, I'm going to need some equipment. I'm going to need, you know what? I'm going to need probably, let's go with, I don't have miners unlocked. I got unlocked when I upgraded to 2.0. It's fine. All right, we're going to go with, well, we're going to go with pump jacks. We're going to go with pump jacks because I want to outpost and to do some pump jacks. Also, I'm going to need some pipe. Going to need more pipe to go with my pipe. You know, the other thing I'm going to want, I'm probably also going to want rail. So can I have a new logistics group, call it rail? And inside that group, I want to have, well, train tracks, obviously, probably 1,000. Yep. Also, can I have some signals and some other type of signals? Also, I'm going to need some train stations. Probably going to want some power poles. You know what? This group as well, I'm also going to want some power poles. And then if I'm done, if I don't need to have those items anymore, I can tick them off. And that just turns off those two logistics groups. Another important thing is, well, I can share these around. So I can put these inside a combinator and then rail, cool. I can put these inside, well, outposting and also, well, outposting and rail. I can put these both inside a combinator and even go back in here and go, well, you know what? If I'm going to be doing rail, I should probably maybe have some trains on me as well. Yeah, that's probably going to be an important thing, and it will automatically update here. Very, very helpful little change. Trains. I forgot items about trains. Speaking of tracks, so trains also, trains and train tracks got an overhaul. So previously, if you wanted to make that corner, you never could because the devs updated it. So now tracks have a 22.5 degree turn, which now means you're in a position to well, make some very, very unique changes and a unique train tracks in the future. Also means that the current rail system you're using in 1.1 will automatically upgrade to 2.0. But technically there are going to be some shapes you just can't make anymore, so be mindful about that when you're upgrading and changing over your rails, that there is a chance that well, you can't hit the tile that you hit before. Yeah, it just doesn't exist. You know, if you remove it and undo it, it's fine, but yeah, you might not be able to rebuild something. So yeah, be careful. Be careful. Maybe undo things before you walk too far away. But then again, you can undo an awful long list, and then you can redo all the things that you meant to keep. Last one. I promised there was only one more I forgot, and that is, well, I have an upgrade planner here intentionally because upgrade planners also got an overhaul. If I wanted to upgrade, let's go with the module slots. If there was an empty module slot, any sort of empty module slot, although actually no empty module slots inside miners, and well, I wanted to put efficiency modules in all my miners, I can then set up an upgrade planner to do that. At the same time, if I just had an empty module slot in any building at all, I'd like to put in productivity because everybody likes a little bit more productivity. I can take this upgrade planner and I can go anywhere on the map and scroll over like this, you know, have the whole coal mine marked out with efficiency modules. Get efficiency modules in all of those. Also, I can put prod mods in half the base. Actually, let's do uranium. You guys got efficiency modules and you guys got productivity modules in and dusted, and also we get a couple of new icons on the map. As you can see, these guys don't actually have any ore left, so sitting around doing nothing. These guys do have ore. They don't have sulfuric acid due to the problems mentioned earlier, and it turns out I don't have pumps to the network, which means this base is not going to get up and get fixed all by itself, which means I have a little bit of work to do. With our little recap of all the new features in 2.0, I need to ask you that very important question again, and that is, well, have you clicked subscribe yet? And can I keep that like? That like I asked whether I could borrow. Is there any chance I can keep it? But with all that said and done, I'm going to call in this video here. If you want to see a whole lot more Factorio content, like I said, you should click the subscribe button by now. But with all that said and done, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. And myself, my tank, or my remotely driven tank, will see you in, well, the very next video. All right, bye.